Hello, Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What an interesting year 2025 will be for you. A lot of changes in your financial situation for the positive, and it may take you away from having to be a hustler to make your ends meet into somebody who feels rather prosperous compared to usual. Also, some destined shifts are happening in how you make money and the way those financial career gains come to you. So, we're going to focus a lot on what the big four transits are, what the big four stories are for you, Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising in 2025. Now, I'm using astrology for you to time your best life as a navigational tool. But if you want to go a lot deeper than just these four items, I have a 2-hour video that I've already produced for you, Leo, and it's in my description box link below or pinned to the comments. And it is my yearly fundraiser. You can buy that video or the All Signs bundle, and I will have my Ho Ho Santa Claus holiday sale on as well. And that allows you to download a 2-hour video broken down by quarters, where you can listen to and timestamp anything you want to know about your year ahead, because there's a lot more than the four items I'm about to share with you today. Okay. There's a lot more going on than that. But what we're doing today is giving you highlights. All right. So welcome to my channel. If you're new, I am Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac, the whole sign house system, and those fixed stars and minor asteroids are a part of my wheelhouse on my regular content. By the way, I also would say to you that, brain come on, this is a fundraiser. The reason that you would buy this item from me instead of have me post it to our video to YouTube is because I use it to buy equipment for my channel, like ring lights, and I need a new laptop and hire time stampers and that kind of thing. So Leo, just for you, I'm putting on a scarf that makes me think of Leonine energy. It's very, it's very lion because I'm chilled. Let's get going and talk about the year ahead. I'm going to show you the chart. We're going to navigate through the sky. You're going to see 4 things you must know. A lot of it has financial implications. We're talking about good stuff in that regard, but also the force of Mars. And Mars is going to do something really important for you coming up this year. And it's really rare, last seen in 77, 78. So let's go ahead and talk about your sky in the next 20 to 30 minutes. So let's get that picture up and we will look at the sky together. This is the Leo storyline, guys. Big lionesses out there and lions. Here we go. First of all, you are here. This is the Eastern horizon. Listen to your sun sign if you want to talk about career purpose matters, maybe your moon sign, home, and how you feel about your life. And the rising sign typically represents the circumstances that are most likely to unfold as you are a character in a simulation, and that is your character. Whereas the energy of your sun can be the game player, right? The more essential, core, soulful part of you. Find as I get older, my sun becomes more relevant to me. And I'm listening to my sun signs because they're more accurate than my actual rising. But both are useful. Let's go ahead and let's talk about the fact that as we begin the new year, you'll see that Mars is moving through the sign of right here, right through the sign of Cancer. And as we progress him forward and move him into a little further into the sky, I mean, he's retrograde, sorry. I want to pull him back a bit. That's what I meant to do. We're going to go back by day. As we see on January 5th, Mars is in your sign. Now that matters. So I want you to close your eyes. I want you to follow me here. I want you to think about this. Mars entered the house of Leo, your sun, moon, and rising place, on the date of December 6th, and he backs out of Leo retrograde on January the 5th. What does it mean for you? It means that Mars is trying to do something for you to do with decisions and actions. And that means that until he comes back again into the Leo part of the sky, until he returns to your Leo part of your sky. Oh, let me rephrase that. I apologize. On November the 4th, 2024, he went into your house direct. And then on December the 6th, he turned retrograde. And on January 6th, he says, sayonara. So between November the 4th, right, and January the 6th, Mars was attempting to begin something for you that has you being able to make a decision or take an action or know which direction to go. Now, the thing about the retrograde is that he was trying to go, I know where I'm going. I know what I want to do. I got this. I got a discernment sword in my hand, says every Leo, November 4th to December 6th. And then the sword pulls back and like, oh, wait a minute. Is that the limb I want to cut off that tree? Is that the gangrene it should be going? Is that the discerning action or decision I need to make or not? And so as the pullback happened, and this can be decisions to do with career, with your marriage, with your children, with your home, with your money, there's a thing going on where it's like pulling it back. And as he goes backwards and into the sign of Cancer, you will ruminate. And you will ruminate from the depths of your soul. What is it you want to decide in terms of your career, your marriage, your relationship to God, your children, your work and work routines, your health and health matters, your travel and travel plans? Every part of your life could be under consideration. And yet he goes back into the 12th house, which is the solitude house, the ashram, the inside out job, going within to go within or go without. And so when he goes back into your 12th house, on a very practical note, and this is January 6th through to April the 18th, during all of that time, you might be very busy making some kind of grand plan in the backroom deals and negotiations of your life, meaning you're doing things home alone, thinking, ruminating, acting, planning, but you may not put them into the real world yet. You might also be busy quitting, ending, and severing addictions and self-undoing. You also might watch for hidden enemies coming out to bother you just during the time he's there. Again, how long is he there? He's in your 12th house, January 6th to April 18th. Now, he's been there before. Go back in time to September 4th, to November 4th. He went direct through your 12th house. Did you quit an addiction? Did you duke it out with a colleague at work? Did you quit your self-undoing? Did you reassess your childhood patterns? Whatever you were doing while he went through your 12th house, September, October, now he's back to redo, rethink, revise, and he will go direct on February 24th. February 24th, therefore, he starts to try to leave your 12th house, which is like leaving the ashram, leaving the cave, leaving the house of bed pleasures. If you're into sexuality right now, that could increase your passion. But otherwise, February 24th to the end of the month, to the April 18th, he's still not back to you, but he will be back to you on April the 18th and for 2 months till about the 17th of June, April 18th to the 17th of June. You have Lord Mars moving through your sign. And now you know what this sword is doing. You're going to cut the dead wood off the tree so the tree can survive, thrive, and grow. The dead wood is anything that you wish to sever and eliminate from your life. As well, decisions and actions you take are now informed by a very powerful and maturely established energy. Mars has been ruminating about it for 4 months, but then April 18th through to June, you're ready to make those decisions. Quit that marriage. Let go of the child, kick them out of the home, change your home, sell your home, change your career path, etc., etc., etc. Now, Mars makes you feisty as hell, and you've got a sword in your hand. Your partner, the one you're with, your long-term committed love, can be underneath the energetic of your sword. So be careful. Just be careful that you are not going to be too hot under the collar and become very conflictual or strife oriented towards a significant marriage partner. You just might want to fly off the handle a bit. Mars is a hot energy in Leo, and tempers can flare, and your temper in particular, that's mid-April till mid-June. Otherwise, all is well. All is well. All righty. So that's story number 1, the Mars story. And Mars is out of bounds, out of control, unstoppable, January through to April in your 12th house. But this is a quiet house. It's not usually the world doesn't see you. You are going into your cave and you are unstoppable, out of bounds, listening to no one, doing your own thing. No one can tell you what to do. You're the boss of you because you want to spend all the time in the cave. You want to be alone at home. You want time to yourself. You might want to travel. I forgot to say, to a foreign land. Oh, yeah, this is really good for you. If you want to take a journey to a foreign country between these dates, January the 6th to February 23rd, you've been to that country before. And if you want to travel somewhere you've never been, February 23rd is really good for that through to April 18th. Those journeys to far off foreign shores are lovely. Moving on to number 2, big saber rattling here. Oh, big excitement. What is it? Saber rattling because you have a sword in your hand. Coming up on the time of the last week of April, literally the last week of April, something is happening that hasn't happened since 1877. And it's going to be a triple conjunction. And let's move our chart forward to the last week of April. And I'll give you a gander of what it looks like. Okay. And we have to move ourselves back, of course, because we moved the clock so far forward, we've lost you. Okay, Leo. So we have a triple conjunction, last seen just a double conjunction of a Saturn in the North Node in 1877. I haven't even done the research to think about how many thousands of years that we also had an exalted Venus here. So the point I want to make is this is a money house for you. This is your 8th house of chunky money. This is the South Node having you let go of work. Okay, so how does that look? First of all, if you've been working in any capacity to create shelter, food, shelter, and water resources, money, income, to hustle. The South Node transit here, all through 25 into mid 26, where the eclipses will happen, let go, surrender, flush it down the drain. The old ways of making money are going away, including, by the way, the old ways of eating. Major dietary changes can happen under this transit. However, the exciting part for me, for you and everybody, but this is your 8th house, is that this is going to be an amplification of success, of volume up, of worldly success in a money house. The 8th house is the inheritance, the money from selling a property, a stock investment, money you get from your spousal shared income, spousal support and divorce settlement money, money you get from, it's the gains and shared resources of your marriage house, money you get from tax rebates, insurance payouts, pension plans. Now there's an increase. So things are growing. Things are voluming up and increasing in this kind of money for you, Leos. Saturn can be money through inheritance from an elder grandparent, particularly a female. Exalted Venus is here. And some of you younger Leos may come into an inheritance from some elder in your system, family of origin. Inheritance money may emerge for you in the last week of April, or the knowledge of it coming your way at the very least. Now, also, this kind of money can be a severance package from a business, like you're going to quit the job and they're going to give you a major payout. So there's that too. Now, one of the things I'd say is if you're involved in the occult mysteries, you've always wanted to learn tarot, you've always wanted to learn human design, you've always wanted to learn how to talk to dead people, the North Node increases your desire for that. And Saturn says it stabilizes it, like you can learn from a tradition, an elder, from something established. And Venus says exaltation of resources and wealth could come through the learning or the studying of an occult mystery. And with the last eclipse in March in your 9th house, some of you will be prompted to go back to school, and that urge to learn something new, whatever it is, will be very active in the first half of 2025. The third thing you need to know in your story is this. Oh, and one more thing. Well, as this North Node energy here is amplifying some kind of Saturn, go the distance in some kind of destined opportunity. All right. There are eclipses here, right? So the eclipses keep jumping you forward, pressuring you forward, bumping you forward. And there will be an eclipse here in the fall, a lunar eclipse. And so you're going to get catapults to kind of want to learn something, right? There's going to be energy. Now, I'm not going to do the eclipse dates here because that's in my deep dive of the eclipses for the year in my longer video, but get the idea that you've got springboards for this success to happen. And Jupiter will be in your 12th house, which is a learning house as well. And he definitely, excuse me, he definitely activates the learning compulsion for you. And so you'll find that really picking up steam for you, likely under a guide, mentor, teacher learning, mid-June of next year, 25 to midsummer of 2026. Now, moving on to number 3, Saturn is moving into your 9th house. And this is something you haven't seen for 30 years. Saturn moving into your 9th house of God is happening on May the 25th. And you feel this intensity through to September the 1st. What happens when Saturn's in here for only 4 months? Well, suddenly the whole house of higher education becomes something you're thinking about. Now, if it's not that, you might want to join a spiritual tradition. And with Neptune co-present here, when Saturn swaps over the fence, I'm not going to show it to you because this means a lot more moving the dial, but Saturn comes into here and Neptune will be here before him on the end of March 30th. This can be very much about wanting to learn something that has to do with Neptunian things and become accomplished, authoritative, and masterful. When Saturn went through my ninth house, I began to study and learn Hellenistic astrology back in the day. This is a very predictable narrative. And what I would say to you is that you could find this Saturn transit into Aries to be exceptionally positive for getting into an established college, campus, or university setting to do Neptune. Enlightenment, filmography, videography, storytelling, publishing, book publishing. This is good for putting out a new podcast that's going to I saw 2 hummingbirds for you. Where's your joy factor? A new, just now at my window, a podcast, a book publishing direction, but also a learning direction. So a lot of Leos, you're going to feel this energy of Saturn. Do you want to learn something new that you can apply to a career 2 to 3 years later, maybe even in a shorter time frame? So Saturn moving through your ninth house begins to pick up speed. Next year, February of 25, add about 2.5 years. So February 2026, add about 2.5 years. So there's a bit of a setup for education, but also following a new spiritual path that's both mystical, Neptune, and traditional. So every spiritual path, like in Judaism, it's the Kabbalah. In Islam, or in the Sufi tradition, it's the Sufi division of Islam. Contemplative Christianity exists. There's a mystical tradition or more deeper tradition in every spiritual religious path. And so Saturn is a tradition and Neptune is this enlightenment-y, more mystical element. So some of you may be pulled into a deeper discovery of what you believe God is, what the meaning of life is, what your dharmic path is. And dharma means you're going to follow a path that's like aligned with your soul's reason for being here. And so just having Saturn here could even begin to push you into a direction of true alignment with why you are on this planet, in this body at this time. And so some of this pull to alignment, to following your truer path, your true north, begins to be more obvious and evident to you, right? You'll see feel or see it on the 25th of May through to September the 1st. Now, this is a house, the ninth house, that has to do with some kind of a possibility of some luck or prosperity. Saturn would only bring you luck and prosperity that goes the distance, that lasts a long time. So it's not an overnight win at all, but you begin to establish a new foundation for prosperity and abundance in your life as well. And given that it's ruled by Mars, right, the Aries part of your sky, who's going to be doing his own magic for you, right? I would say to you that Mars moving through your sign, moving through your sign April 18th to June 17th, and then Saturn moving the 3rd week of May. It will be the 3rd week of May through to June 17th. Well, Mars really does support this alignment with purpose. Finally, you might want to spend time abroad. With Saturn here, you would only do that most likely if it's because it's somehow connected to karmic places you've been before. And then Mars moving direct means that the 3rd week of May to the middle of June, you may travel to a place you've been before, a land far away, but it feels either karmically familiar in some fundamental way. Moving to the 4th thing you Leonines must pay attention to this year of 25 is that you're going to experience the first in a lifetime, unless you're over the age of 84, the first in a lifetime movement of Uranus into the house of great gains. Now, Uranus gets in here after Jupiter would have been here for a year. And therefore, Jupiter has seasoned the house for expanding your career gains financially, expanding your social networks, benefiting from a sibling one older. This is what came before. This was May of 24 to June 9th of 25. And because of that, you have already experienced a glow up in your earnings and revenue and gains from your career path. And this was benefiting from allies, benefactors, and a sibling one older than you. And you also may have come into touch with larger social networks or expanded your dreams and your goals and your visions for what you want to accomplish in your work, in your career, and in your life in general. And as Jupiter was moving through this part of the chart, he was giving you all the clues you needed. But then Jupiter having left, right, June 9th, he skedaddles out of there. Then Uranus follows right after. Uranus enters your 11th house of good spirit, the house of windfalls and pennies from heaven, on July the 7th, and will stay there as a teaser of greater power coming to you for 7 years. When he gets in the summer of 2026 into your 11th house for a good 7-year run. But this teaser time of July the 7th to the November 8th timeframe is indicating a strong possibility that you might find yourself having unexpected financial gains is connected to your career. And so look for some flashpoints of delight or excitement, July 7th to November 8th, where things begin to financially pick up in a kind of way that feels like a windfall. Now, also this transit, this electrifying transit, is asking you to be willing to dramatically, radically revision and change your goals for your life. These longer term 5-year plans and strategies and what you think you're here to accomplish are going to be Uranianized. You know, Uranus is like Prometheus who stole the fire from the gods, to give to humanity. And he's also unexpected change regarding friendship circles, social circles, but also what is this Promethean fire that you wish to receive in a way that looks like a benefit from the career that you're choosing? Where are you going to have a fire of something exciting and new, but also that helps humanity? Now, not all of you are at a time in your life where you think that way, and that's okay too. Certainly, there'll be some disruptions in your social groups, but Uranus is not trying to just toss people to the curb, but you may have some electrical currents of sudden unexpected changes in friendship groups and belongings and tribal circles that you belong to. And who knows, it could be anything, but just don't expect friendship circles to remain the same. And given that Jupiter paved the way, by the time Uranus gets here, he's following in Jupiter's footsteps. You've had a lot of discernment, wisdom, and good energy prior to this. So I would expect this first taster of July 7th and November 8th not to be entirely disruptive or to entirely disturbing to your inner psyche. Okay, keep that in mind. And you will have support from July the 7th to September 1st from Lord Saturn as well, and Neptune to tell Uranus, do things as best as possible, steadier way than he normally would. Saturn is like, whoa, horsey, steady over here. But you can expect some changes in the way you make money as well. And by the way, if you're going to go back to school in the next 2 or 3 years, and some of you Leos will, or go to school for the first time, I would expect that Uranus moving through your 11th house will be giving you opportunities that surprise you to be successful in any educational setting that ultimately lead to greater career gains than you're normally used to. Uranus brings rags to riches. And in your second house natally, if you're born with that, you're going to have rags to riches and riches to rags. But this is a temporary 7-year run, right? 2026 had 7 years where unexpected, surprising, shocking career success stories blast out. It's not steady as she goes. Okay, it's more steady as she goes in, let's say, 2025, 6, 7. But after that, then it can be very much a rocket ship of success in your career gains in ways you didn't imagine were possible. Unless you're over 84 years old and you can tell me about how this happened to you before. I don't doubt you guys know what's coming. It's exciting. It's totally exciting. Welcome to listening to this, or thank you, and don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and look at my description box. Did you want to come and join my Patreon community? Up to 3 Zoom calls a month with me. We do classes together. We talk about the astrology. I teach you things. Do you want to come over to my Substack? I have a new column, the Pluto Chronicles, for chronicling Pluto through Aquarius for the next 20 years, dispatches from this storyline. But also, I'll be starting a podcast there. And you can join for free if you want to track the Pluto story specifically, especially you Aquariuses, Scorpios, Tauruses, and Leos, because you're getting square energy from this. But also, we'll be talking about on the Pluto Chronicles, I'll be having guests on the podcast, and we'll be diving into the Pluto story there as well. Other astrologers, and also some people I'd like to have on who are not even into astrology, but we all talk about the woo. We'll talk about aliens. We'll talk about UFOs. We'll talk about near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences. We'll talk about all. I got to get off of just astrology. So join me over there. Check the description links below. Cosmic Moonshine newsletter. All my stuff is below, including free gifts for you. Hit the more button and you'll be directed down below the video to get those links. All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck, Leos. It's an interesting year ahead.